Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Marcus. We are back with another video, and today we're trying to figure out who will be the biggest threat to the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC South. Now, we know two teams are on a form of rebuilding with the Texans and the Jaguars, and then we know the Tennessee Titans, coming off that run last year and the year before, how they're just loaded with talent, running through Derrick Henry. But I don't think they really have it figured out yet. They went out this offseason and got all this pass rush added to that defense, who's going to be stacked. That D-line and pass rush is stacked for Tennessee. But they did take a step back in that secondary because in order to get some pieces, you got to lose some. So corner depth, they lacked. I'm pretty sure they're going to attack that in the draft. They lost their star safety in Vaccaro, I believe. So that means they still got Byard. But, it's not the Tennessee team that's probably going to get you to the next level. If you know what I mean. This is no knock on any teams in the AFC South, because I'm not that type of guy. It's all positivities here. I mean, you got your own fan bases and their own emotions and how they feel towards their team or who their rival is. But I feel like it's just not necessary until game day, pretty sure. But, it is what it is. I won't knock any team, but for the Tennessee Titans, I will say they're always going to be talented because they have the best running back in football, Derrick Henry, plain and simple. Tannehill is streaky. He's not the best quarterback. He's not the worst. You've seen games where he was like, okay, this dude is beast. When he runs for touchdowns and he's those little celebration. Then you've seen games like Green Bay, for example. I mean, of course, weather conditions, but you've seen games like that even when he played us the first time. It's just like, he's good, but he's not that good. So, I mean, that team is pretty much, it's almost balanced, but it's not complete. So they're going to go rookie cornerback in the draft, I'm pretty sure. Tennessee Titans fans already got their eyes on who they want in the draft. Hopefully they don't get them because, we want the AFC South title, so it is what it is. But the Tennessee Titans probably will be the biggest threat. But let's move on to the other teams. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They beat us week 1. Go ahead and blame injuries, all that good stuff. I don't care about that. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody knew who they was going to play. Their starting quarterback is not even going to be their quarterback next year. And they don't even know what they're going to do with him. That team was not supposed to beat us week 1. Now, of course, we got to learn our chemistries and everything, but we straight up got embarrassed against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, you're going into next year, they're going to have a new coach. They're going to have a new quarterback with potential. The guy that pretty much was explosive in week 1 and their running back in Robinson, he was pretty good. Can he do that again next year? We don't know. We don't know what type of team Jacksonville is going to have. Now, we know their glory days from back in the day with that Saxonville and that defense. They added more defense this offseason, so it's like they got a young star in the cornerback and Henderson. He pretty much played a pretty good job last year against T.Y. and those guys. He did pretty decent in both matchups. I'm not going to lie. So you don't know what type of team you're going to get from them. Now, of course, they got a learning curve, and, they're still a rebuilding, so it might not be perfect, and they're still going to have to figure it out. But they can still give us a run for our money. Those division games are not promised. You're pretty much going to go 1-1 maybe, or we may sweep them like we did the Texans last year. But it is the Jaguars. You don't know what type of team you're going to get out of them. You really don't. So they got a decent wide receiver core at that as well. That's another thing that you have to take notice. We don't know what type of team we're going to get out of them. So that's why I asked this question. And then the last team, the Houston Texans. Now, they've been under speculation all offseason with their quarterback and all these things. The coach, head coach, their defense is lackluster. They lost the talent over there. They went to go get a little bit of an offensive line, just a little. We don't know about that, but it's still suspect because of that deal they did with Tunsil. But, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day because nobody cares. But, they got all these running backs. I feel like they're going to run back committee next year. You got a quarter. Well, we don't know what we're going to expect from them, man. We don't know where they're going to go from here. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the last in the division, just to be honest. I think they're going to be the last in the division, so we don't really care about the Houston Texans. They're not the biggest threat, so I'm not going to really call them a threat. We don't know what we're going to see from them. We don't know. So now I'm going to put it in your hands. Who is the biggest threat to the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC South? That's pretty interesting. So I'm looking to get your comments. You don't have to respond to what I've said about the teams. If you want to, fine. I do read all the comments. You might get a like post, you might not, or I'll just scroll past. But you don't have to react to my comments. I just want your opinions of who might be the biggest threats. Now, of course, I'm going to get a bunch of people saying the Titans, of course. Oh, they got Derrick Henry and all this other stuff. But it might not be them. It can be the Jaguars. It possibly can be. They can go on a Cinderella story season. Now, is that saying they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. You know, who knows? They probably could have a Cinderella story. We don't know. But, like I said, let me get your thoughts. And until next time, you've been Culture Shock.